Well, hey, it's Lynn Brown, and welcome to the Gritty Women Global Podcast. This is episode 112. So, who wrote your script? Well, just stay tuned and I'll give you a little news flash in this episode. So again, I want to welcome you and thank you for tuning in and making the Gritty Women Global Podcast part of your day. I'm a results coach, but now let me just reassure you that did not happen overnight. And the first half of my life, I was literally trapped by the opinions of others. It was like living in a mental prison, really. And then one day I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. Anybody out there know what I'm talking about? I mean, it's just like that was the day that I drew a line in the sand, and I bet on myself for the first time ever. I invested in my journey of personal growth that is never ending. Now, let me tell you, my life's not perfect. Trust me, it's not perfect, but I'm a heck of a lot farther down the road than I was. And I'm so forever grateful for that. I feel like I'm failing forward. I mean, I still face plant, I still screw up, I still mess up. I mean, I hit some things right, but there's always a way to become better, and every day I wake up and I want it today to be better than I was yesterday. And so taking action is the only guarantee that tomorrow's going to be better. We can think about it all day long. We can dream about it, we can think about it, we can write it down, we can tell people, but until we take action, nothing really changes. So it took me taking action to create a gritty mindset. And this whole attitude, this whole idea of the Gritty Women Global Podcast came from the very first step, which was gratitude. I had a friend that challenged me to write 25 things every day that I was grateful for. And that one habit created another habit and another habit. And I began to stack those habits. And I noticed that as I did that my life began to change. So let me ask you this. What do you do? What's your gut reaction? What do you do, when the yogurt hits the fan? What do you do when you get the call? What do you do when you get the knock at the door? What do you do when you're in Target and your debit card is declined? All those things. What do you do when that happens? Or this is a good one too. You text your friend and they don't text you right back in the second, and you begin to think, oh, what did I do wrong? Is she mad at me, or he mad at me, or what? You start creating that story. Anybody out there do that? Because whatever you do in that moment, when you get the news or get the unexpected call or the bank account says something different, whatever you do in that next moment matters. And here's a perfect example. This just happened to me. I was traveling last week, just enjoying the journey to a Live to Lead simulcast where I was serving with John Maxwell and Ed Mylett. I was going to get to meet Ed Mylett. So I was just totally pumped about this. And talking to my son on the phone, he's in the service. It was just great to hear his voice. And then, in chimes in another call, and I had to take it. It was some results from my wellness visit to my doctor, and it's not what I was wanting to hear. I've been writing Walking in Total Health, and some of my numbers were just a little out of whack a little bit. So at first my stomach flipped, and then I thought, no, I'm going to be grateful for this because it is raising my awareness and showing me how I can even become healthier than I already am, which is one of my values. I write that every single day. I'm walking in total health. And why do I write that? Because it is in alignment with my values. It is in alignment in what I love and cherish, which is my family. And I want to be here, for generations, years and years and years to come. I do. I want to see my children's children grow up. I do. And I believe that can have a greater, possibility, greater chance of happening. I believe it can happen if we are willing to take a close look at this area of wellness. And so even though that call was interrupted, even though it made my stomach flip for a minute, after that I was fine. I began to set up my strategies. I began to, just know that what I was going to do to fix what needed to be fixed. And so it doesn't really matter what the news is. What matters is that the message never changes. Our Creator, the message that He spoke into being has never changed. It never has. It never will. It is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that, my gritty sister, is where the peace comes. That we don't have to fear. We don't have to fear. And sometimes, because of our environments, the way we were raised, or what we've experienced, seen, heard, done, it can put that slant of fear, onto our lives. But the great news is that we can replace that fear with peace, with wholeness, with the ability to live in the present moment. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about just for a little minute today. Oftentimes, it can be the smallest thing that's a trigger, a snarky comment on social media. It can be being left off the guest list. Maybe you get sucked back into that comparison trap. But what's really happening is that you're believing the script that you probably had a little help writing. Now, some other people you could have handed over your rights and allowed someone else to write your script for you. That happens a lot. But it can be as simple as, maybe you've always wanted a podcast, but you're not going to do it because there are already 43 million people that don't have a podcast. And how would you ever be able to fit in and find a way? Well, how did I? Seriously, if I can do it, you can do it. I did it because I took action. I lost 25 pounds because I took action. I created a morning habit of quiet time and devotion and gratitude because I took action. And at some point, basically, we have to make that decision. We have to come out of agreement with the thoughts and the bogus stories and the scripts that are truly not ours. And you have to come into agreement with the script that is true. Which one thing we know, we were created in the image of our Father in heaven. Created perfectly. He doesn't mess up. He didn't just go to sleep the day you were born. He created you. And so we have to come into agreement with the things that we want. We can't just be like Dorothy and click our heels and think, oh, it's going to be all, sunshine, blue skies, and, cotton candy. No. If anything, we need to click the heels of our mind, the red heels of our mind, and come into agreement with His affections and His love and His promises and His grace that He gives to us. And y'all, I was raised in church all my life, but I'm telling you, the first half of my life, I was stuck on the second pew, and my belief went about as far as my hands could reach. I felt like my prayers kind of stopped there too, but until I really began to believe that my mind could be transformed and renewed, nothing changed. I've seen it happen in my life, and God is no respecter of persons. I'm just to this place in my life that I'm so over hearing, women settle that I know they're gritty girls, they're gritty sisters, and I hear them settle. They're settling for less. They accept the news just 100%. There's no fight. It's like they're not going to go fight for it. They accept the circumstances, the conditions. This past Sunday, our preacher was teaching on Numbers 14, and he was talking about the story of the spies that went into the land, and 8 of the 10 spies came back and said, oh, the giants, they're huge giants, they're going to eat us up, we're just little grasshoppers. And then there were 2 that came back and said, oh, we got this, and those 2 are the ones that ended up going into the promised land. So what report are you believing, truly? It takes more than just having a bumper sticker, and knowing where, the 23rd Psalm is, and writing, and maybe writing a scripture verse and sticking it on your fridge. It even takes more than that. It takes you believing it and putting it into action. In 2011, as I was being rolled in the ambulance, I remember every second, rolled in the ambulance as a result of having a heart attack at 48 years old, really. But the verse that popped in my head was, no weapon formed against Lynn shall prosper. And you know what? That truth has set my soul free. Because I truly believe that God doesn't just want to fix the immediate report. He didn't want to just heal my heart attack, the issue of that day. He wanted to heal my whole soul. That being said, I mean, we're talking about, the anxious parts of us, the parts that oftentimes we don't want to admit. Y'all, I went through years of anxiety attacks, and I never talked about it to anyone because I didn't even know what it was. And I just sat quietly and suffered through it. I didn't even know that I was having an anxiety attack. I didn't know what was happening to me. That was before it was, really cool to talk about it. But he wants, our Creator wants to set us free in all areas, mind, body, and soul. The last several years, I've just continued to see breakthrough after breakthrough. And a lot of times people say, oh, you're just wired that way. Oh, you just are reactive. Oh, you're just this. Oh, you're just that. You know what? But I'm not going to believe just the people's report of, oh, I'm just this way or I'm that way. Because I know who my Creator is. And I know that I was not created to just fumble around down here and suffer and be anxious. So I moved. I took a step in faith. And I began to do the work that set me free. And I will tell you, gratitude was the very first step. It's an annihilator of shame, guilt, and it will refuel your joy like nothing else. So you're the star of your story, your message, your story, your voice. It's the one that's going to bless someone, not me. I mean, yes, I might bless somebody, but guess what? Somebody's waiting to hear your story. But now it's going to take some fight. I mean, I'm telling you, you're going to have to fight for your dream. You got to separate yourself from the pack. You're going to have to reach up. You're going to have to, when I say reach up, don't take advice from anybody you don't want to trade places with. And trust me, there are a lot of people in the cheap seats out there that want to give you some advice. Well, I'm just telling you right now, do not listen to them. Run from them. Surround yourself with people that are bigger, faster, and stronger than you are. Trust me, I live in that space. I totally live in that space. So you're capable, you're worthy, you're chosen, you're known, you are loved, you're redeemed, and you are accepted by your Creator. You were created perfectly and perfectly perfect in His image. You have all the power that you will ever need in your heart right now. It happened when you said yes to Jesus, and when Jesus said yes to the cross, it was done that day. When you said, I believe. I love this. I heard Ed Millett say this, that I live to believe. He said, when you know that you're going to influence the world, it's not about you trying to make others believe what you believe, but the impact and the influence and the inspiration is going to come when they see that confidence overflowing out of your heart in you. When they see how you love and how you serve and how you live and how you show up, when they see that and they believe that you believe what you believe, then impact happens. Then change happens. Then influence happens. That's what will change the world. That's what's going to change the world. It's what burns in your heart and your soul. Not your opinion. Your heart is going to change the world. So let's agree now that we're going to finish. We're going to look into these last 90 days. Well, not 90 now. 80-ish days. And we're going to run fiercely toward what sets our soul on fire. Right now, wellness is setting my soul on fire. Yes, because I got a little report that said you need to tweak this area. So that got my attention. So wellness is huge for me right now. And you know what? It needs to be on the minds of a lot of people. Because especially going into the holidays, there were times, y'all, that I would just kind of blow off the rest of the year, start eating candy corn about now, and I would drift on into Thanksgiving and then start eating gingerbread men. And it was chocolate kisses, and it was on, you hear me, until January 2nd. But no more. I had to draw a line in the sand. Doesn't mean I'm not going to celebrate and have good things. There's plenty of good things I can have. So, if you want some help in this area, I'll be happy to partner with you. You can reach out to me at lynne@lynnebrown.net. That's LYNNE at lynnebrown.net. Or you can also just go to grittyglobal.com. Send me a message. I have a couple of starting points there, but if you want to, have a coaching session or a couple of them, whatever, just reach out to me. And hey, I got to share this with y'all. So last night I had a dream, and that's even cool too, because honestly, for the last 10 years, up until March of this year, March and April is when I began with this company called You're Worth It, and I started taking their supplements, and in about 3 weeks I slept through the night. So I've been sleeping now, which is miraculous. So when you sleep in REM sleep and deep sleep, you dream. And not only do you dream, but you can remember your dreams. So this morning I woke up with this I was smiling. I know I had to be smiling. I was in a Christmas store, which I love Christmas. And my son was there and my husband. And my son brought over a box, and it was an old shredded box. It looked like an antique, maybe box that had old Christmas balls in it. All I could see was the colors. And I couldn't really tell, but I thought, I don't know if I need those old Christmas balls. But he gave it to me, and I reached out and I took it from him. And I shook the box a little bit, and it began to jingle. It was a whole box full of jingle bells. Well, I love jingle bells. And I was like, oh yes, I want this. But y'all, this morning, in my quiet time, y'all just gonna have to hang on for a second. I gotta go get my little Jesus Calling devotion. I'll be right back. Y'all just listen to this pretty music. I'll be right back. Who does this on a podcast but Lynne Brown? Nobody ever. But who cares? Nobody said it had to be perfect. Honestly, I don't want to do all the editing. I'm just real. I just shoot straight. There was a time in my life I was so fake, so now I'm just going to be real. So yeah, I just got up during my podcast and didn't hit pause. Oh my God, I give you all hope. So here you go. Today's October 14th, and it was about just considering everything joy, giving thanks. So I'm thankful for the call I got last week that I needed to pay attention to some things in my blood work. But here we go. This was in Jesus Calling today. It said, this sacrifice of thanksgiving rings golden toned bells of joy throughout heavenly realms. And I thought, now, is that not cool? Is God not the coolest ever? I mean, that he would give me a dream about jingle bells, and they brought me so much joy in the dream, and then he would connect that with my quiet time this morning. That's what I call a God wink, and I love it. And he knows he's got to keep it simple with me. I mean, he's got to keep things really simple. So that's a word of encouragement today for whoever needs it. I pray and hope that it made somebody smile. That maybe you'll get a jingle bell, put it in your car or put it in your purse, and it'll just remind you to give thanks in all things, regardless of the circumstance. And remember that whatever news comes, the message stays the same. And we will not be shaken. We will hold fast to the promises of God. All right. Well, y'all have a great day. I look forward to seeing you really soon. Take care. And hey, stay gritty. Y'all stay gritty.